The twin sons of Zephyra cast golden light across the vast palace gardens. Flowers of colors unseen on earth swayed gently in the alien breeze, and crystalline streams sparkled as if sprinkled with stardust. In the heart of the palace, the queen of the Aelari, Lyra, walked with her daughter Elira, holding her tiny hand. Elira's wings, delicate and iridescent, shimmered as she ran ahead, laughing. "Be careful, Elira," Lyra said softly, her antennae trembling slightly with worry. "Do not go too far." "I'm just exploring, Mom. Look, a crystal bloom," Elira said, pointing to a rare flower that glowed faintly. She reached out to touch it, her small fingers brushing its soft petals. Lyra smiled, kneeling beside her. Elira was curious, adventurous, and fearless, the traits that made her unique even among the Aelari. But those traits could also make her vulnerable. Lyra knew the dangers beyond the palace walls, yet she trusted the palace grounds to be safe. Suddenly, a shadow moved across the garden. Elira did not notice it, too busy examining a tiny insect that glowed in the sunlight. Lyra's eyes narrowed. The shadow shifted again, faster this time, slipping behind a thick wall of vines. "Elira!" Lyra called, but the child did not hear. Before Lyra could react, Elira was gone. One moment she was laughing and running, the next, nothing. Lyra's heart froze. Panic clawed at her chest. The Aelari guards who were stationed nearby noticed the queen's distress and immediately activated their emergency alert. "What happened, Your Majesty?" asked Commander Soren, a tall, armored Aelari with sharp wings and piercing eyes. "My daughter, she's gone. Elira is gone." Lyra's voice trembled as tears threatened to fall. Soren's wings flexed anxiously. "We will find her, Your Majesty. All units are searching." Lyra felt a sudden weight of helplessness. She was the queen of her people, yet she could not protect her own child. She moved to the center of the garden, eyes scanning for any clue. Her antennae twitched, trying to sense a trace of Elira. But the energy signature that normally followed her daughter's tiny life force was gone, completely wiped out. Whoever had taken her was clever. Meanwhile, far above in the orbital station, a human soldier named Captain Daniel Cross was reviewing planetary reports. Humans had been sent to Zyphera as part of an interstellar peacekeeping alliance. They were observers, advisors, and protectors if needed, though most Aelari regarded them as different. Daniel was tall, broad-shouldered, and calm under pressure. He had faced danger in many forms, but the reports of a missing Aelari child caught his attention. He had been briefed on the Aelari royal family and knew the gravity of the situation. The queen's daughter missing meant not just a personal tragedy, but a political crisis. Without hesitation, Daniel activated his mobility pod and descended to the palace grounds. He landed quietly near the gardens, drawing attention, but not alarming the already tense Aelari guards. "I'm Captain Daniel Cross," he announced firmly but respectfully. "I've been trained in rescue operations. I can help find the child." Lyra looked at him, wary. "You are human. How can you help?" Daniel bowed slightly. "Sometimes seeing the world differently helps. I notice things others might miss." Soren stepped forward. "The palace grounds are under strict search protocol. Only trained Aelari are allowed to investigate. We cannot risk further danger." "I understand," Daniel said calmly. "But may I at least try to look for clues outside your normal search patterns? Children often leave signs humans can track in ways alien senses might overlook." Lyra studied him carefully. There was confidence, in his eyes a quiet bravery. Against her better judgment, she nodded. "Very well, human, but tread carefully. Elira's life is at stake." Daniel began scanning the garden perimeter. Within minutes, he spotted something unusual, a faint trail of broken crystal blooms, crushed underfoot. He crouched, examining the trail carefully. "She was taken this way," he said. "Someone did not want her found quickly." Soren's wings stiffened. "A trap, perhaps. We must move with caution." Daniel motioned for the Aelari guards to follow him. Follow the trail, but slowly. Whoever took her may be watching. They moved through dense gardens, past shimmering streams and glowing flowers. The air was filled with tension, as if the very atmosphere feared the unknown. Daniel noticed more subtle signs, tiny footprints in soft soil, a faint energy signature that flickered and disappeared. The kidnapper was skilled. As the group advanced, Lyra could not stop her mind from imagining Elira trapped, scared, or worse. She remembered the stories of rogue mercenary groups in the galaxy, kidnappers who used children for leverage or ransom. The thought made her antennae tremble. "Daniel," Lyra whispered, her voice breaking slightly. "What if they harm her?" Daniel did not flinch. "Then we will stop them. I will not let any harm come to her. Trust me." Lyra wanted to believe him. There was something in the way he moved, methodical, careful, yet confident. Humans were not physically as strong as the Ilari, but Daniel had something different. He could think outside the rules, improvise, and act with courage. Hours passed. The sun shifted in the sky, casting long shadows across the palace gardens. The Ilari guards were beginning to tire, but Daniel remained focused, following the trail. With unwavering determination. Suddenly, the faint trail of footprints ended at a thick wall of vines. Behind it, a low hum resonated, a strange mechanical vibration that did not belong to Zephyra's natural environment. Daniel knelt to examine the vines. "This is not native. Something artificial is hiding beyond this wall. She's close." Soren tensed. "A trap, Daniel. It could be dangerous." "I know," Daniel said quietly. "But if we wait, she might be gone forever." With careful hands, Daniel parted the vines. Behind them was a hidden transport shuttle, sleek and metallic, with alien markings unfamiliar to the Ellery. It hovered silently, powered by energy that pulsed faintly. The kidnapper had been clever, hiding in plain sight. Lyra gasped. "Elira!" she cried, rushing forward, but Daniel held up a hand. "Not yet," he said. "We don't know how many are inside. Wait for my signal." The tension was unbearable. The hum of the shuttle, the glint of unknown technology, and the thought of her daughter inside. It was almost too much for Lyra. But she stayed back, trusting Daniel's plan. Daniel signaled the guards to flank the shuttle. He moved closer, scanning for energy signatures. "There," he whispered, pointing to a faint life signal. "It's faint, but that's Elira. She's alive." Lyra's heart leapt. Relief washed over her, quickly replaced by fear. "Get her, please, bring her back." Daniel nodded. "We will, I promise." He activated a small device on his wrist, sending out a pulse to disable the shuttle's energy shield. The hum faltered, and a panel slid open. Inside, Elira was sitting frightened but unharmed. Her eyes widened at the sight of the humans and Ilari approaching. "Mom?" she whispered, her voice trembling. Lyra rushed forward, but Daniel gently held her back. "Not yet. We need to secure the shuttle. Danger could still be inside." Elira looked at Daniel, confusion in her eyes. Who are you?" "I'm Daniel," he said softly. "I'm here to bring you home." Her small hands reached out, gripping his. There was trust there, instinctive and pure. It was a human touch, yet filled with courage and protection that transcended species. The stage was set. The first part of the rescue had begun. Beyond the shuttle walls lay danger, cunning enemies, and challenges that would test human ingenuity and alien bravery alike. But for the first time since her disappearance, Elira had hope, and Lyra, though anxious, believed that the human soldier could succeed where others might fail. The golden glow of Zephyra's twin suns had faded, replaced by the soft, silvery light of the planet's moon. The palace gardens, once alive with colors and sparkling streams, now looked calm and quiet, almost eerie. Yet beneath the peaceful night, danger lingered. Elira's rescue had begun, but the journey was far from over. Captain Daniel Cross studied the energy signals he had detected near the hidden shuttle. Each pulse was faint, scattered, and irregular. It was clear that whoever had taken Elira had traveled far from the palace, possibly hiding in remote territory beyond the forested valleys of Zephyra. Lyra, her wings folded tightly against her back hovered close. "Do you really think we can find her, Daniel?" she asked, her voice trembling. "She is small. She could be anywhere by now." Daniel's eyes did not leave the readings on his wrist device. "Yes, Your Majesty, we will find her. But we have to be careful. Whoever took her is smart, and they may be expecting us." Soren. And a squad of Alari guards moved silently behind Daniel. Unlike humans, the Alari could sense subtle energy changes in the environment, but they were often bound by strict protocols. Daniel, on the other hand, was flexible and unpredictable, something the alien mercenaries would not expect. He led the group into the dense forests that stretched beyond the palace. The trees were tall and strange, with translucent leaves that glowed faintly in the moonlight. The forest floor was uneven, covered in thick moss and small glowing fungi. Daniel scanned the terrain carefully, noticing subtle disturbances in the ground. "There," he whispered, pointing to a small patch of flattened moss. "Someone passed through here. Not recently, but recently enough for me to track." Soren bent over, examining the trail. "Yes, there are footprints, small like a child's, but there are others. Adult footprints," Daniel nodded. "Mercenaries, most likely. They took her in a controlled way. Quiet, fast, and careful. But even the best hide clues. We just need to find them." As they moved deeper into the forest, Elira's faint energy signature appeared again on Daniel's device. It flickered like a candle in the wind. "She's close," he said. "Keep your eyes open. The path is dangerous." The squad walked in tense silence, the only sound the soft rustle of alien leaves and the distant call of nocturnal creatures. The forest seemed alive, almost watching them. Suddenly, a low hum echoed through the trees. Daniel paused, signaling for the squad to stop. "This is not natural," he said. "Someone is using technology nearby." Soren tilted his head. "Could it be them?" "Possibly," Daniel replied. "Or it could be a trap." They approached cautiously and soon discovered the remnants of a small campsite. Strange devices, unlike anything the Alari used, lay scattered. Energy fields glimmered faintly, pulsing like faint hearts. Daniel knelt to inspect them. "These are tracking disruptors," he said. "They mask energy signals, confuse normal sensors. Whoever left this wants to hide from the Alari." One of the guards frowned. "Then how did you track Elira?" Daniel smiled faintly. "Humans notice small things differently. Look here." He pointed to a small indentation in the moss, almost invisible. "They passed through, leaving minimal traces, but humans are trained to spot patterns, even subtle ones." Lyra's wings twitched. "You think we are close?" "I know we are," Daniel said confidently. "Keep moving, but stay alert." The trail led them to the edge of a cliff overlooking a narrow valley. At first it seemed empty, bathed in silver moonlight. But then Daniel spotted movement, figures carrying Elira inside a container of some sort. The kidnapper mercenaries had not noticed the group above. "Ready?" Daniel whispered. The guards nodded. Wings flexed and sharp eyes focused. Daniel activated a small device on his wrist, sending out a silent signal to map the valley and detect energy fields. He noticed a pattern in the mercenaries' movement. They were well trained, but predictable in their patrol. "They are moving in shifts," Daniel explained. "We can intercept them when they are least alert, but we must move fast. We cannot risk Elira's safety." Lyra felt a mixture of fear and hope. "Do you think she knows we are coming?" "She senses someone looking for her," Daniel said. "She may not understand fully, but she will trust anyone who seems brave and kind. That is how children are." The human soldier devised a plan. Using the terrain, the group descended quietly down the cliffs, avoiding direct paths and sticking to shadows. Daniel led, careful not to make a sound, yet constantly observing every movement of the mercenaries below. Hours seemed to pass as they crept through the forested valley. The mercenaries occasionally paused, scanning the area with advanced devices, but Daniel's clever use of alien terrain and human instincts kept the group hidden. Finally, they reached the edge of the camp. Daniel crouched behind a large rock, pointing to Elira's container. She was awake, her eyes wide with fear, but she seemed unharmed. Her tiny hands gripped the edge, trembling. "She's scared," Lyra whispered, her voice breaking. "I wish I could reach her now." Daniel shook his head gently. "If we act too quickly, they might harm her. We need a distraction." He scanned the area, his mind moving quickly. He noticed a pile of energy cells nearby, used to power the mercenaries' devices. Daniel smiled faintly. "We'll create a controlled distraction, just enough to draw their attention away from Elira. Trust me." With careful precision, Daniel tossed a small energy pulse device into the pile. It ignited a soft flare of light and sound. The mercenaries immediately reacted, rushing toward the noise. "Now," Daniel whispered. The guards sprang into action. Using a combination of Elari agility and Daniel's tactical commands, they incapacitated the distracted mercenaries quietly, avoiding harm to anyone. Daniel rushed to Elira, opening the container. "Elira, it's okay, I'm here. You're safe now." Elira's wings fluttered in relief. She reached out for Daniel, trusting him instinctively. He saved me," she whispered, eyes wide. Daniel smiled softly. "Yes, I did. And now we're going home." The Aelari guard secured the remaining mercenaries, binding them for capture. Soren approached Daniel, admiration in his eyes. "You are remarkable, human. Your methods, they are different from ours, but they work." Daniel shrugged. "Different doesn't mean better, just adaptable. In situations like this, you need both skill and imagination." Lyra, still watching from a safe distance, felt tears in her eyes. Her daughter was alive, unharmed, and yet there was a strange awe in seeing a human, so different from her people, protecting what she loved most. As dawn approached, casting soft golden light across the valley, Daniel carried Elira carefully in his arms. The child rested her head on his shoulder, exhausted but safe. The forest, once threatening and unknown, now seemed peaceful. Lyra met them at the edge of the forest. Her wings shimmered as she embraced her daughter. "Elira, you're safe. You're truly safe." Elira looked up at Daniel, eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you for saving me." Daniel smiled, handing her gently to Lyra. "It's my duty, little one, always." The queen studied Daniel carefully, her eyes reflecting admiration and something else. "Trust. You are not one of us, yet you have proven yourself braver than many of my own guards. We owe you our gratitude." Daniel shook his head humbly. "I did what anyone would do. I just saw what others missed." As the sun rose fully, illuminating the twin landscapes of valley and palace, the group realized something remarkable. Humans and Elari, despite their differences, could work together. Courage, compassion, and intelligence were not limited to any species. And though Elira was safe for now, Daniel knew that their mission was not over. The mercenaries had allies, and the galaxy was vast and unpredictable. But for the first time, hope burned brightly. Human ingenuity and alien wisdom together could overcome even the darkest threats. The hidden shuttle and the captured Elira were just the beginning. Captain Daniel Cross knew that taking the child back to the palace safely would not be simple. The mercenary group had been clever, skilled, and dangerous. Their fortress, the place they called home, was far from Zephyra's palace, hidden in an asteroid orbiting the planet. Getting Elira there had been a trap to test the rescuers. Daniel looked down at the small girl in his arms. Her wings fluttered slightly, tired from the ordeal but still glowing faintly under the soft starlight. She looked at him with wide eyes. "Will they come back?" she whispered. They might, Daniel said gently. But I promise we won't let them take you again. Not ever. Lyra's voice came from the edge of the forest, calm, but full of authority. Daniel, you must be careful. This is not just about a Lyra. These mercenaries are dangerous and will have traps we cannot see. I understand, Your Majesty, Daniel replied. That's why I'm taking a careful approach. We cannot rush blindly, but we will get her home. The group, consisting of Daniel, Lyra, Elira, and several Aelari guards, began the journey to the asteroid fortress. The path required crossing the open plains of Zephyra, then boarding a small transport capable of reaching the asteroid. Daniel studied the coordinates carefully. The asteroid moved fast, orbiting high above the planet's surface, almost invisible against the dark sky. Look, Daniel said, pointing. There it is, just above the northern horizon. Our target. The fortress was massive, jagged, and dark, with sharp angles like a predator waiting in space. Lights blinked along its surface, scanning the void. Daniel checked his equipment. We need to land quietly. Any loud approach will alert them, and a Lyra will be at risk. Soren nodded. We have stealth modules. We can avoid detection if we act carefully. Daniel climbed into the pilot's seat of the transport. Elira held gently beside him. Hold on tight, little one, he said. She nodded, trusting him completely. Humans had a way of making others feel safe, even in impossible situations. The small ship approached the asteroid. Daniel noticed a shield barrier surrounding the fortress, pulsing faintly. The mercenaries had advanced technology, more sophisticated than most humans had seen. But Daniel was ready. He tapped into the stealth module, blending the ship's energy signature with the surrounding asteroid field. Slowly, silently, they approached the barrier. Inside the fortress, Elira's eyes widened as she saw the strange alien structure. Machines hummed, lights flickered, and robotic guards patrolled the corridors. It's big, she whispered. Yes, Daniel said, softly, but we are brave, and together we can do this. The group landed the transport on a small platform hidden from the main entrances. Daniel checked the security readings. We have a few minutes before patrols notice us. Stay close, stay quiet, and follow my lead. Soren and the guards moved. With him, wings folded for silence. Daniel carried a small device capable of disabling electronic doors and security systems, something he had used in human operations before. Though the technology was alien, his adaptive mind quickly understood its workings. They entered the fortress. Shadows stretched across the walls, machines hummed, and sensors scanned the hallways. Daniel led carefully, stopping at each corner. He could see Elira trembling, but she held onto his hand tightly. Do you think they'll be mean to me? She asked softly. They won't get the chance, Daniel replied firmly. We are too smart for them. Just stay close. As they moved deeper, they encountered their first challenge, a patrolling guard, larger and more menacing than any previous threat. Its armor was black and its eyes glowed red. Daniel whispered to the Aelari guards, "Wait for my signal." He studied the guard's pattern, noticing its predictable movements. Timing was everything. Now, Daniel shouted. In one swift motion, he activated a flash device, temporarily blinding the guard. The Aelari guards quickly incapacitated it, moving silently so as not to alert others. Elira gasped in amazement. Wow, you're really brave. Daniel smiled faintly. Bravery is nothing without patience. We must be careful. More will come. They continued through the corridors, facing traps designed to slow intruders. Pressure plates, laser grids, and energy barriers blocked their path. Daniel used his human intuition to find patterns, solving problems that strict protocol-trained Aelari might overlook. Each time, he guided the group through safely. Finally, they reached the central chamber where Elira was being held. The room was massive, lit with dim red lights. At the center was a transparent containment unit, pulsing with energy. Inside, Elira sat quietly, clutching a small blanket she had carried. At the same time, The mercenary leader, Vorik, appeared. He was large, with dark exoskeleton armor and sharp claws. His eyes glowed with intelligence and cunning. "So the humans finally come," he hissed. "I underestimated you, Daniel Cross." Daniel stepped forward, placing himself between Elira and Vorik. "Your time is over, Vorik. Release her, or face the consequences." Vorik laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the chamber. "Consequences? Do you know who you are dealing with? You are only human, fragile and weak." Daniel's eyes narrowed. "Maybe. But humans think differently. We adapt, we improvise, and we protect those who cannot protect themselves. You will see." Vorik lunged toward the containment unit, but Daniel was ready. Using a combination of human technology and Aelari agility, he triggered the unit's emergency release. Elira tumbled out safely into his arms. The mercenary soldiers rushed in to stop them, but Daniel had anticipated this. Using the narrow hallways and shadows, he led the group through a series of quick maneuvers. The Aelari guards disabled enemies. One by one, their precision combined with Daniel's strategy proving unstoppable. Elira looked up at him, eyes wide. You saved me again?" Daniel nodded. "Yes, Elira. We are almost home now. Just a little further." Vorik, furious, tried one last desperate attack. Daniel dodged quickly, using his human reflexes and timing to outsmart the mercenary. In one final move, Vorik was knocked back into a containment field, unable to escape. With the mercenary leader neutralized and the path cleared, Daniel led Elira and the Aelari guards back to their transport. Elira clung to him, exhausted but safe. "I knew you'd come," she whispered. "I trusted you." Daniel smiled softly. "And I'll always be here for you, little one. Always." As they lifted off the asteroid, leaving the fortress behind, Daniel looked down at the glowing planet below. Zephyra's twin suns were rising again, casting light over the golden forests and sparkling streams. The mission had been dangerous, but they had succeeded. Lyra waited at the palace landing platform, her wings trembling with anticipation. When Elira saw her mother, she cried out, "Mom, I'm back. He saved me." Lyra rushed forward, embracing her daughter tightly. Tears streamed down her face as she looked at Daniel. "How can I ever thank you?" she asked, her voice choked with emotion. Daniel shook his head. "You don't need to. Seeing her safe is enough." Soren, watching from a distance, nodded in respect. "You are truly remarkable, Daniel. Humans are extraordinary." Daniel smiled faintly, helping Elira down. "We all have our strengths. Today ours just happened to be a little different." As the sun rose fully, the palace gardens seemed brighter than ever. Elira clung to her mother, safe at last. The human soldier had not only saved a child, but had also proven the value of courage, intelligence, and compassion across worlds. And while challenges still awaited, threats in the galaxy, unknown dangers, and political unrest, the bond between humans and Aelari had grown stronger. Trust had been earned and hope had been restored. Daniel watched the scene quietly, knowing the greatest victory was not just saving Elira, but showing that humans and aliens could stand together, united against darkness, with courage and heart. The sun rose slowly over the palace of Zephyra, its twin rays scattering golden light across the gardens. The air was calm, yet alive with anticipation. Word had spread quickly through the palace halls. Elira, the queen's missing daughter, had been found and was being returned. Guards lined the pathways, anxious but relieved, and citizens watched from afar, whispering in awe. Lyra paced back and forth near the landing platform, her wings folding and unfolding nervously. She could not stay still. The moment she had feared for weeks was finally arriving, the reunion with her child. Her antennae twitched with every faint sound, every shadow that passed. "Patience, Your Majesty," Commander Soren said softly. "She is coming. Soon you will see her safe." Lyra nodded, but her heart felt heavy. Even though she had glimpsed Elira briefly during the rescue, the memory of her daughter in danger haunted her. I need to hold her. To know she is truly safe, Lyra admitted. Soren placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. You will, Majesty. Trust the human who brought her. From the sky, the transport descended quietly, moving past the palace gates. On board, Captain Daniel Cross carried Lyra carefully in his arms. The little girl's wings fluttered faintly, her energy glowing softly as if she knew she was close to home. She looked up at Daniel with a smile, exhausted but full of trust. Almost there, Lyra, Daniel whispered. Your mom is waiting. You'll see her soon. Lyra clutched his shoulder. I missed her so much, she said, her voice small. Daniel smiled gently. And she missed you too, very much. The transport landed smoothly on the palace platform. Guards moved quickly to assist, ensuring a clear path to the Queen. Daniel stepped forward, carrying Lyra toward the waiting Lyra. Time seemed to slow. The world felt suspended in that single moment of anticipation. Lyra's eyes widened as she saw her daughter in Daniel's arms. Tears welled up immediately. Lyra, she cried, rushing forward. Her wings unfurled in excitement and relief. Glimmering in the morning sunlight, Lyra reached out, letting go of Daniel, and ran straight into her mother's embrace. Mom, I'm back. He saved me, she cried, burying her face against Lyra's chest. Lyra's tears fell freely as she held her daughter tightly, whispering over and over, My sweet Lyra, you are safe. You are safe now. Daniel stepped back respectfully, letting the reunion unfold. He could feel the emotion radiating from both mother and daughter, a bond so strong it transcended species. He knew then that this moment was not just about a rescue. It was about trust, courage, and love. Soren approached Daniel quietly. Your actions, they have changed how we see humans. Your bravery, your strategy, your care for the child, it is extraordinary. Daniel shook his head humbly. I did what anyone would do. I just noticed what others might have missed, and I never underestimated the bond between a mother and her child. Lyra looked up at him, still holding Lyra close. Her antennae quivered as she spoke. You have my eternal gratitude, Daniel Cross. You have proven not only your courage, but the strength of your heart. You are welcome in our palace whenever you wish. Daniel smiled faintly. Thank you, Your Majesty. I only did what was right. Lyra, now safely back in her mother's arms, looked at Daniel with wide, sincere eyes. Thank you for saving me. I trust you. Daniel knelt slightly to meet her gaze. And I will always be here to protect you, Lyra. Always. The Queen motioned for the guards to escort the remaining mercenaries, captured during the rescue, to secure holding cells. They would face justice according to Elari law. Even so, Lyra's focus remained on her daughter, who now clung to her as though she would never let go. Later, in a quiet chamber, Lyra and Lyra sat together. Lyra spoke softly, describing the experience of being captured, the fear she felt, and how Daniel had stayed calm and protective throughout. Lyra listened carefully, her heart swelling with gratitude. He never hesitated, Mom, Lyra said. Even when the guards were scared, he kept going. He was brave for me. Lyra held her daughter close. Yes, my darling. And now you see that courage and kindness exist in all forms. Humans like him may be different from us, but they can be just as noble, just as loving. Soren entered the room, bowing respectfully. Your Majesty, the mercenary threat has been neutralized. With Lyra safe, we can focus on rebuilding, security, and ensuring nothing like this ever happens again. Lyra nodded, still holding Lyra. Thank you, Commander. And thank you for your loyalty, Daniel. You have shown us a new way to see humans, not just as visitors, but as allies. Daniel smiled, a mixture of pride and humility in his expression. It has been my honor, Your Majesty. I only hope we can continue to work together to keep Lyra and your people safe. The Queen thought for a moment, then made a decision. Indeed we must. Humans and Alari have much to learn from one another, and I believe that together we can face challenges no one alone could overcome. Elira, nestled in her mother's lap, looked at Daniel with wide eyes. Can you stay for a while? Just until I feel safe? Daniel chuckled softly. Of course, Elira. I'll stay until you are sure everything is okay. Outside the palace, citizens and soldiers alike watched the reunion. Word of Daniel's bravery and the safe return of Elira spread quickly. Humans, once regarded as outsiders, were now seen as trusted friends and protectors. The story of the rescue would be told for generations, a tale of courage, ingenuity, and the bonds that could form across species. Lyra, finally able to relax, looked at her daughter and then at Daniel. You have given me the greatest gift a mother could hope for, my child safe in my arms. Words cannot express my gratitude. Daniel shook his head. No words are needed. Seeing her safe, happy, and alive is all the reward I need. Elira snuggled closer to her mother. He really is brave, Mom, and he cares. I think he's my friend forever. Lyra smiled through her tears. Yes, my little one. He is more than a friend. He is family in spirit, even if he is not of our kind. As the morning light bathed the palace gardens, a sense of peace settled over Zephyra. The danger had passed, but the lessons remained. Courage, compassion, and trust were universal, crossing the boundaries of species and culture. Later that day, Lyra held a small ceremony in honor of Daniel. The palace gathered, citizens and guards alike, to celebrate the human soldier who had risked everything to save a child. Daniel stood humbly as the queen spoke. You have shown us the best of humanity, Lyra said. Your courage and wisdom have restored not only my daughter but the faith of our people. Let this day be remembered as a day when friendship and bravery conquered fear. Daniel bowed respectfully. Thank you, Your Majesty. I only did what was right. Elira tugged at his hand. Can we explore the gardens now, together? Daniel smiled and nodded. Of course. Let's explore, little one, and we'll be safe this time. As mother and daughter walked together, and Daniel by their side, Zephyra seemed brighter than ever. The rescue was complete. The reunion was full of tears and joy, and a lasting bond had been formed, not just between Elira and Daniel, but between humans and Alari as a whole. The day ended with laughter, stories, and hope. Elira's arms wrapped around her mother, Daniel watching over them, and the palace alive with gratitude. This reunion was more than a rescue. It was a reminder that courage, heart, and friendship were stronger than fear, danger, or even the darkest plots. The palace of Zephyra glowed under the light of the twin suns, its golden spires reflecting hope and renewal. The crisis of the missing princess had ended, but its echoes remained, lessons of bravery, trust, and unity that would shape the future. For Captain Daniel Cross, the human soldier who had saved Elira, the mission was more than a rescue. It was the beginning of something greater. In the palace courtyard, Lyra and Elira walked hand in hand, their wings catching the sunlight. Elira laughed freely now, her earlier fear replaced with joy and curiosity. She ran ahead, stopping occasionally to point out the shimmering flowers or the crystal streams. Daniel followed closely, keeping a protective eye on her while sharing gentle smiles. You are truly remarkable, Daniel, Lyra said softly, walking beside him. Not just for saving my daughter, but for showing us what humans are capable of. Daniel shook his head humbly. I only did what anyone with courage and heart would do. Humans are not perfect, but we try. Today was about Elira, not me. Elira giggled, tugging at Daniel's sleeve. But you are perfect for saving me. You're my hero. Daniel chuckled. Well, heroes are just people who do what's right, little one. And today, we all did what was right. Together. The Queen's words lingered as the Palace Council gathered to discuss the events that had transpired. The mercenary threat had been neutralized, and their leader, Vorik, was securely detained in Ilari holding cells. With his capture, The remaining mercenaries would likely surrender or scatter. But beyond this immediate danger, the council knew that Zephyra's safety relied on more than just guards and walls. It depended on alliances, trust, and cooperation across worlds. Lyra rose to address the council, her wings unfolding with regal grace. Citizens of Zephyra, today we have witnessed courage and compassion that transcend species. Captain Daniel Cross, a human, has proven himself not only brave but wise. We have learned that the bond between humans and Ilari is not just possible, it is essential. Whispers filled the chamber as council members nodded, impressed by the Queen's words. Soren stepped forward, wings flexed with respect. Indeed, Your Majesty. His strategy, quick thinking, and courage saved Illyra. Humans can offer much more than we imagined. Daniel stepped forward, hands raised slightly in humility. I am honored, Your Majesty, Commander. But it is not humans alone who create safety or trust. It is everyone working together. Today we succeeded because we combined human adaptability with Ilari skill and wisdom. Lyra smiled, her antennae twitching with satisfaction. Then let this day mark the beginning of a new era. Humans will have a place in Zephyra, not only as visitors or allies, but as partners in peace and protection. Outside the council chambers, Illyra ran across the gardens, Daniel close behind her. She stopped to watch a group of young Ilari, children playing, their laughter echoing in the crisp morning air. Mom, she said, turning to Lyra, do you think they can come visit humans too? Lyra laughed softly. Perhaps, but remember, humans are different. You must always be careful and kind, as Daniel has taught us. Illyra nodded. I will, but I want to be friends with them, just like Daniel. Daniel smiled, kneeling to her. Level, and you can. Friends can come from anywhere, even different planets. What matters is courage, trust, and kindness. That is how strong bonds are formed. The human soldier had earned not just the gratitude of a queen, but the respect of an entire alien race. Yet for him, the reward was simple. Illyra's safety, her smile, and the knowledge that he had made a real difference. That afternoon, a ceremony was held in the palace gardens. Citizens, guards, and council members gathered as Daniel was officially recognized by the queen. A symbolic gift was presented, a medallion shaped like a star, a reminder of the courage and unity that had saved a child and strengthened an alliance. Have shown the best of humanity, Daniel Cross, Lyra said, placing the medallion in his hands. May this remind you of Zephyra, your bravery, and the bond you have created with our people. Daniel bowed respectfully. I will wear it with pride, Your Majesty, and I will remember that courage, trust, and friendship can cross any boundary. Illyra ran to Daniel and hugged him tightly. Thank you for everything, you're my hero forever. Daniel smiled warmly. And you, Illyra, are brave too. Never forget that. As the day passed, Daniel worked alongside the Ilari to strengthen the palace's defenses and improve emergency protocols. He shared strategies that combined human flexibility with Ilari precision, teaching the guards how to anticipate threats creatively, rather than relying solely on routine. Even as he trained and advised, Daniel observed Illyra and Lyra, noting how much they had healed. Illyra laughed freely now, chasing small glowing insects across the gardens, while Lyra watched with a serene smile. The trauma of the kidnapping was fading, replaced by joy and renewed trust. That evening, Daniel stood on a balcony overlooking the twin suns setting over Zephyra's valleys. He could see the forests, the rivers, and the palace gardens shimmering in the golden light. The journey had been dangerous, but it had changed everything, not just for Illyra, not just for the queen, but for the humans and Ilari alike. Soren joined him, wings folded calmly. You have done more than we expected. Daniel, you have earned our trust, our respect, and our friendship. Humans are no longer just visitors. They are part of our future. Daniel nodded. It is the beginning of something greater. This mission may have started as a rescue, but it has become a bridge between our peoples. And that bridge will hold strong if we continue to act with courage and integrity. Meanwhile, in the palace gardens, Lyra and Elira spoke of plans for the future. "Mom," Elira said softly, "do you think Daniel will stay here sometimes? I like him being around. He makes me feel safe." Lyra smiled, brushing Elira's hair gently. "I believe he will. Humans and Elari have much to teach each other. And today he has proven that friendship and bravery know no boundaries." Days passed, and life on Zephyra returned to a peaceful rhythm. Citizens resumed their routines, and the palace resumed its activities. Yet the memory of the kidnapping and the rescue remained as a reminder of the importance of vigilance, courage, and unity. Daniel continued to advise and train, becoming a trusted figure among both Elari and humans. The bond between humans and Elari grew stronger. Joint patrols were established, emergency protocols shared, and cultural exchanges encouraged. Children, like Elira, began learning about human stories and human courage, while young humans visiting Zephyra learned about alien technology, empathy, and strategy. One evening, as the twin suns dipped below the horizon, Elira ran to Daniel, her wings glowing faintly in the twilight. "Thank you for everything," she said. "I feel safe now, and I know you will always be there if something happens." Daniel knelt, smiling gently. "I will, Elira, always. And you too must remember your own courage. You have been brave through everything. Never forget that." Lyra watched from nearby, tears glinting in the fading sunlight. "Daniel, you have given us more than we can say. You have not just saved a child. You have shown us that humans and Elari can face anything together. Today marks the start of a new alliance, one built on trust, respect, and bravery." Daniel bowed respectfully. "It is an honor, Your Majesty. I will do everything I can to strengthen this alliance and keep Elira and your people safe." As the stars appeared in Zephyra's sky, Daniel stood with Lyra and Elira, the three of them united by courage and trust. The galaxy was vast, full of unknown dangers and challenges, yet the bond they had formed promised hope and protection across worlds. And so, on that bright and hopeful day, Zephyra entered a new era. Humans and Elari would face the future together, stronger than before, bound by friendship, loyalty, and the knowledge that courage and compassion could change destinies. Daniel smiled as he watched Elira laugh, running toward her mother. For the first time in a long while, he felt at peace, not just because a child had been saved, but because he had witnessed the power of trust, unity, and the human spirit. The twin suns set, the palace glimmered, and the galaxy seemed a little brighter. Heroes came in many forms, and today, a human soldier had become more than just a protector. He had become a symbol of hope, courage, and the limitless potential of allies working together.